All right, question. Raise your hand if you've ever been bored in school. You've never been bored in school? Oh, thank you. Okay. Raise your hand if you've ever been bored on a long car trip. Raise your hand if you've ever been bored when you just have to sit somewhere and like wait for your parents. Raise your hand if you've ever been bored when you've had to go to like the supermarket with your parents. This is one that used to drive my son crazy because I take a long time to shop because I like looking at packages. All right? So guys, here's the deal. Being bored is part of life, right? And in school, what we really should teach kids starting in kindergarten is you are going to be bored sometimes and you have to deal with it. But we don't teach kids that, okay? We teach kids, that you have to pay attention all the time, right? And you should always be paying attention, but that's kind of hard to do sometimes, yes? Okay, so here's the deal. If somebody's brain works with ADHD, then what it means is that their brain coach, that voice in their head, makes it hard for them sometimes to say, hey, you know what, I'm feeling bored right now, but I can get through it, okay? The reason why is because, like I explained, guys, if your brain coach, the volume's turned down too low, you don't really hear it when it's saying to you, hey, this is not a big deal, you can get through this, okay? Even though it's kind of boring. But here's the thing, guys. For the rest of your life, you're going to be bored sometimes. You have to deal with boredom in different places, different times. All right? Sometimes, guys, I can tell you, I've been to things like I've had to go to like an 8-hour class where I'm bored the entire time. Do you know what it's like being bored for 8 hours straight? Has anybody ever experienced that? Maybe not 8 hours, 6 hours. Nick, you have?
8 hours.
8 hours? Yeah, when?
Road trip.
On a road trip, yeah? Okay, Nick.
6 hours road trip.
6 hour road trip? Okay.
6 hours, 15 minutes.
Okay, so you guys get the boredom thing, right? All right, so the thing is, guys, when we're bored, the older you get, right, the more you're expected to handle boredom in a way that's appropriate for your age. And what happens, you guys, if we don't handle boredom in a way that's expected for our age, other people start to have, sometimes uncomfortable thoughts about us or weird thoughts about us. So for instance, when you are in middle school, right, you are not supposed to be in class saying like, oh, this is boring, I don't want to do this, right? That's not expected in middle school. When you have to go somewhere, with your parents, you're not expected to say in front of other adults or kids, whatever, to start like complaining about being bored, right? Okay? So I just wanted to go over this very quick, all right? So, who can read this? Aaron. Nick. You don't want to be, they're not going to be able to hear you. All right, I'll read it.
Okay.
Yes, Nick.
Which part?
The top.
Okay, coping with boring moments. It's all about sharing space with others.
Okay, are we sharing space right now?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So, when you do what's expected, people feel comfortable sharing space with you. All right? Is everyone feeling comfortable here?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. I'm actually having, I'm not feeling uncomfortable, but I'm kind of having some thoughts because I'm hearing some noise right now because somebody's playing with something louder than I asked them to, right? So, so what I'm doing right now is I'm aware that somebody's bored, okay? And that's okay, but it's kind of distracting to me, right? So, these are all things, guys, that we kind of know. So when we're bored, we're still supposed to keep our body and eyes turned towards the teacher or the group, right? All you guys are doing that right now. You're doing what's expected. Fidget or doodle quietly, right? So totally fine to fidget, you guys. And you know what? If fidgeting, drawing, doodling, whatever helps you kind of focus, that's okay. How many of you find that like when you're in class, if you're like doodling, it helps you kind of focus? Yeah, me too. Okay. Guys, this is a really big one. When in middle school, keep negative thoughts to yourself, okay? So like what I just said, you're not supposed to talk about being bored when you're in middle school, like in class or whatever, because it's considered unexpected for your age. All right, who can read this? Nick, can you read this one? Yeah.
What to do, what you do, what's...
When you do.
When you do what's unexpected.
People become uncomfortable with your behavior. So I want to just focus real quick, guys, and then we're done with this, about some of the things that kids your age do when they're bored that give other people uncomfortable thoughts. So wandering around the classroom, would that give other kids in your class uncomfortable thoughts? In middle school? Yeah. Or in high school? Definitely. Okay? Sleeping or looking like you were sleeping? Yes? No?
Yes.
Yeah. Distracting others? I used to do that a lot. Yeah. Taking lots of trips to the bathroom?
Yes.
Does that, yeah? So here's the thing, guys, that's not distracting to others, but other kids notice it, okay? And one of the things I can tell you guys, I see a lot of kids who, with school, wherever, they try to hang out in the bathroom to kind of avoid doing things that are boring to them, all right? How about this one? This is a really big one. Telling other people what they're doing wrong when you're feeling bored. All right, is that going to give other kids uncomfortable thoughts about you?
Yes.
Definitely, yeah. How about this one? Reading books during class that are not related to classwork. Is that going to give other kids uncomfortable thoughts?
Yes.
Well, here's the thing, guys. It's not what you're supposed to be doing, but I don't think it's really going to give other kids uncomfortable thoughts because they're probably not going to necessarily notice you doing that. They might, okay? But really, guys, the ones that other kids notice the most and the ones that give kids uncomfortable thoughts are like when you're telling them what to do or blurting out answers, right? Or getting up and walking around. All right, so how long did this whole thing just take?
10 minutes.
This 10 minutes? Yeah. Who felt bored during this? You can raise your hand. I'm not going to be upset. All right, yeah. And guess what, guys? You know what? I knew going into this that this was going to be boring to you, and that's okay. Because what you just did and what you've done the other times this week when we've done this stuff is you've proved that you know how to handle boredom in a way that's expected for your age. Obviously, with some of you, you know, you have to practice your brain, using your brain coach a little more to do that. All right, but for the most part, you know, you guys do an excellent, excellent job with that. Okay, who was a little bored on the boat yesterday at all? Because we were there for a long time. Okay, you guys handled it perfectly. You know that? Okay, that was a long time to be out somewhere, and as you guys learned, fishing cannot be so exciting sometimes, particularly when you're not catching things, right? Yeah, but you guys handled it perfectly. Okay, cool. Next.